Hello, all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. Have you watched Christiada or other Christian movies? Then if you are fans, then this episode is dedicated for you, because with us on Skype is Pablo Jose Barroso from Mexico. Pablo, thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, Maria. Thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
And you're calling us from sunny Mexico. As we know already, you are a film producer, and one of your projects which you produced was Christiada, a huge international success when it comes to telling a Christian story with big names of actors also in them. And now you're working on some other project more connected to Poland. But before we switch to this, tell us a few words about your mission.
Yes, we're Dos Corazones Films, which is a Catholic producing company, movie producing company, and we want to give the same production values as the big blockbuster movies. So that's why we did in Christiada. We have Andy Garcia and Oscar Isaac and Eva Longoria and Peter O'Toole. It was his last movie, and we have not spared anything in each of the departments, in production, in music, in sound, and also we did the greatest miracle in animation. If you remember, back in 2013, we produced it and distributed in Poland.
Yes, so Christiada was a history movie about also this element with fighting, and so action movie in many levels. I would say that's why it also probably was a huge success, because it had so many dimensions which could get to the audience. And now you're working on a cartoon based on the story of Maksymilian Kolbe, so a Polish priest who in Auschwitz gave up his life for a co-prisoner. A very touching story, well known in Poland, but I would say not so much known in the world. And so tell me from the beginning, how is it possible that you in Mexico choose the story of Maksymilian Kolbe?
Well, I chose it in Poland. We had the privilege to be in the cell where he died and to make a prayer there back in 2013 when we visited to promote Christiada in Poland. And then we started doing some research about him, because it's a fascinating story, not only of his last days as a prisoner and a martyr, but also since he was Raymond, and that's where the Polish culture comes out, and we can see all the living of the day-to-day basis in Poland. Also when he did the Nipokalanov, and he did all the City of Mary, and afterwards how he helped the church to go out with Immaculate, with the magazine. So he's one of my favorite saints.
He's one of your favorite scenes. So it's a personal decision, I love it. You want to tell the story through a cartoon. And a very, I would say, computer made, in a way that you feel like you're in a computer game a little bit when you're watching it, at least part of it. I have this impression. To tell the story through the eyes of a young boy at the beginning, who has some problems with doing graffiti, who doesn't know what to do in his life. He has this task of taking care of an older man, and then his story begins. So tell us the plot of the movie in a few sentences.
Yes, we wanted to reach out as many people as possible. We want to be a blockbuster all worldwide. That's why we did it in animation. The war and the violence is not as harsh as in the real live action movies. So we tried the script was done by Bruce Morris, who wrote also Pocahontas and Hercules, so he knows how to reach out to young people and younger audiences. We did the story through the eyes of an old man talking to a younger teenage rebel boy, and then we go back in flashbacks to 1910, 1920, 1930s, and that's how we portray the story about this saint. And we see through the movie how the life of San Maximilian changes the life of DJ, which is the teenager that you were talking about.
Yeah, so DJ doesn't know where to go or what to do in his life, doesn't have a vocation in a way. And then the story of Maksymilian Kolbe, which after all, I wouldn't say it's world known, but of course it's very, very moving. And also his martyrdom and the fact that he didn't lose hope and he didn't lose courage even in such kind of circumstances as Auschwitz. And we know that many Jews even lost their faith in Auschwitz, but he didn't, so he managed to keep it to the end, which of course needed to be a huge challenge, because it's even hard to say what kind of conditions where those people ended up in during the war. And moreover, he didn't also fight for his life. He gave up his life for another. So he took the other prisoner conviction and his punishment and ended up in the cell. Do you show all of this in the movie? Also
Yes,
this hard part?
Yes, we start since the very beginning as Raymond Kolbe when he was a little boy, and we go all the way until he sacrifices himself, as you were talking about, with love for another prisoner which survived the war and the camps.
We'll talk more about it in the next episode. And of course, anything which is left for me right now is to invite all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily, to watch me and Maksymilian, the movie. But it is still not possible, which you will learn more about in the next episode. So please stay with us.